This week's episode is brought to you by the home and auto insurance brand Canadians trust most, Intact Insurance. The Jann Arden Podcast with Caitlin Green and Sarah Berg. We're back.
Don't blow your voice out.
No, that was it.
That's it. That's all for today.
I've had a cold since I saw you guys last time, which was our live event. Tell me everything, so you guys. Good. Tell me your experiences, what you thought, what we could have done better, what we sucked at, what we were great at.
We have another team meeting apparently with everyone else with us.
Yeah. I loved seeing everyone in person. I really want to shout out that venue. That was ADA Studios in Universal Music's offices in Liberty Village here in Toronto, and they are spectacular and really a place where you feel like it's put together.
That's my label.
Yeah, it's your label, and it's like obviously it's Universal Music. They love music, but it's like someone put this together who has some real creativity because there's little details. It just looks wonderful. And the quality of the video and the audio there for a live space, that was, in my mind, kind of going to be a dice roll. And it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was cool having all those components already locked and loaded in the building. We didn't have to unpack anything. We didn't bring anything with us.
It's crazy.
It really was very delightful and good people. And the chairs from Massey Hall, anyone who's from the Toronto area, you know that Massey Hall underwent like a $200 million, I'm probably really exaggerating, but huge reno several years ago. A lot of farts in those seats over the years.
Oh, yeah.
As we know, if you sat at a Massey Hall chair, you were like, these are 80, 90-year-old chairs. Anyway, they bought like 100 of them, and they are placed sort of strategically at the back, and they really bring an energy with them. I mean, imagine what those chairs have seen.
Oh, they're so cool. And they have them up on the ceiling, sort of in this art installation way above the area where the bar is. And then behind the bar, you'll see a neon sign. And it says, "No dress rehearsal, this is our life," a quote from the Tragically Hip. And they actually put together the light fixture there in the same handwriting as Gord Downie did for his original lyrics for that song. So real effort being made. It feels special. It's nice because it's on the ground floor. It's right when you walk in. And it was so nice to meet all of the Only Jans and all the Jann fans. And it's cool to be in front of a live audience. I haven't done that since I was doing radio, and we would have live broadcasts occasionally. And it just feels fun to hear the immediate laugh at something. And
we were hilarious.
According to them.
Yeah. I mean, they just laughed at everything. And we learned a lot. We obviously wanted to start small, Sarah and Chris. Just a little shout out to you guys for, the tickets and the wrangling everyone in and scanning everyone's tickets to come in on Eventbrite. And it was pretty incredible just to see everything kind of work from a technical end. I was so happy because we didn't want 130 people standing outside going, "The scanner's not working."
I know.
There's double tickets of everything, but yeah, everyone got their gift bag. So a shout out to our sponsors. Hey, Sarah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We had a lot of people show up. I want to even start with Dogfather because, they stepped up last minute and in 24 hours had delivered what they needed for the gift bags, Basma Beauty, Happy Pops, and who am I missing? Cove. How could we forget Cove?
We're never going to forget Cove.
Yeah, we're in bed with Cove for life.
Well, it's my longest relationship. And even a chili can of Cove up next to me in my bed, I'll take it. Like, I will take it at this point. It's not that Cove cans aren't the greatest spooner, but I'm hoping that they have bottle, like glass editions maybe in the next 10 years.
A friend of the show, Tommy Smythe, I just, recorded a new episode of his podcast, Trust Me, I'm a Decorator, the other day. And he was talking about the design firm that did the space at Universal and how that's like, there was actually, they brought in an actual design firm for that. And it's like somebody and a group of people that he completely admires as, he's a design sort of nut in that way. So if you want to hear more about literally that, because we're doing an event with Tommy coming up on October 28th, then on
Yeah,
the
there's
new
tickets.
episode.
There's a few tickets still available for that. So you can go to
Yes.
Eventbrite for Trust Me, I'm a Decorator with Debbie Travis and Tommy.
Yeah.
And on one of our favorite podcast networks, the Women in Media Podcast Network. But yeah, it's tried and true now, and I
Yeah.
hope that you guys will have as equally as a fun night as we did. Anyway, moving
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
Lots of things to talk about today. In particular, Milton, Hurricane Milton, has been really
Oh my gosh.
tragically gut wrenching to watch unfold. And if the girls are anything like me, and I know they are, we've been kind of doing all the social media as well as the news. TikTok is a really interesting format to listen to people's testimonials, how they're preparing. You have 1 million people trying to leave the Tampa area of Florida, heading north. So they're trying to get to Georgia. They're trying to get out of there. And one story I've been following in particular is a woman with 3 kids, her husband, 2 dogs and a cat, you know, kind of the all American family. They drove 6 hours yesterday. They were panicking. There was no gas anywhere. They were trying to get to Georgia, to a relative in Georgia. They turned around. They calculated that they could get back. They could manage to get back home because the highway going the other way, they literally crossed the ditch and they headed back to Tampa. They've gone home. They were too worried about being stuck with no gasoline, stranded on the highway with the kids and the dogs, and
When a hurricane
they
hits.
they literally thought it would be better. They would be better served to go back and hunker down. They're a little bit inland in Tampa, but still could very well be facing 2, 3, 4, 5 foot storm surges. So, what are you guys taking away from this? And I'm really glad that I don't live in a hurricane area or a tornado area.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is a few tornadoes around here, but what tales of peril these people are painting.
I can't believe that also too when you think about this. So Tampa and Sarasota, the Gulf side of Florida are getting the direct hit, which is uncommon. Like the west coast of Florida does not normally get this direct of a hit. So and Tampa's big. Like Tampa's, we have like in Toronto it's like the GTA.
Yeah.
So the Tampa equivalent of like the whole GTA all like lock stock is 3.3 million people.
Jesus.
So it's a ton of people. Sarasota's a big place. And
I've been to Sarasota. Yeah, many
yeah, and
times.
Sarasota's very popular with snowbirds. So a lot of Canadians own property down there. And again, not their primary residence. So this is not a life endangering situation. But for people who maybe bought that for not very much money and are now going to incur a lot of damage to it and might be retired, living on a fixed income, all the rest of it, it's going to be very difficult. And can you probably even get insured there anymore after this? I would wonder.
Not with hurricane insurance.
I don't know.
Not an act of God. I don't think flooding would be a possibility. It is impossible for an insurer, even a huge insurer, to undertake those kinds of damages. The company would fold. It would be billions and billions of dollars. So,
And they're gonna like
FEMA is trying to step up and do the best they can to help people prepare, but it
and I
is a
remember
shit show.
this was years ago during one of the presidential runs, and there was a candidate who was running for the Democratic nominee. So he wasn't in the end the nominee. He was one of like 10 people who were trying to do this. And I forget his name, but Andrew Yang. And one of the things he discussed was reallocating a lot of FEMA funding to relocating people, saying, let's get them out of there. Let's move them inland. Let's move a lot of people who are in these regions where we know climate change is past the point of no return. And they're going to either in California slide off into the ocean, deal with wildfires, deal with hurricanes, flooding, whatever the case may be. We need to come to terms with the very sad fact that living in these places is going to be incredibly difficult in the next several decades. And I have to wonder how many people are going to start opening themselves up to that line of thinking if they reside in these areas, because at the time, no one wanted to hear it. It's a depressing thing to hear that your best option is to leave the place that you've lived.
I don't know if I would do it, Caitlin. I don't know if I would get up and leave. Sorry.
For sure.
There's so many people that are saying, I know we're supposed to go and I know this is really dangerous, but we don't have a choice. But having said that, there is 1 million people that in the last 72 hours have left. And let's keep in mind, folks, just 2 weeks ago, they were hit with the big H.
Oh, I
You know,
know.
Helena came through there, and just the damage even going into the Carolinas has been so catastrophic. Of course, I watch all these animal sanctuaries, and just people wading in up to their collarbones to get horses out of barns and stuff. It's heroic. I mean, I love the fact that no matter what your political affiliation is, people really come together in these times, and I
Mhm.
think it really shows communities what they're made of, and that they
Yeah.
can drop those ideas. And then we've got fucking Trump running around saying that FEMA is not helping Republican areas, that FEMA is actually spending money helping immigrant families. He's lying, lying, lying. I'm fucking sick of him and the outrageous things that the fear mongering that he does. He knows exactly what he's doing to these poor people, making them believe these absolute falsehoods. And I just fucking hope she beats him. I just think he's a disgusting person, and the vitriol grows in me. I don't understand how you could vote for him, folks. I don't understand how, what it comes down to at the end of the day, no matter what political thing is going on, character, 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 some kind of ethics and character that cares about each other and actually cares about their country, their well-being, their standing in the international community, their stand on climate change. If this isn't an indicator, you've had two massive hurricanes in 2 weeks.
Mhm.
It's not common, even though it's hurricane season. The size of these and it's because of the heat in the Gulf of Mexico, the
Yeah.
heat of the ocean. Anyway, I'm sorry to be so mad, but I went to bed last night. I spoke to Chris for quite a while on the phone, and he told me to be hopeful. I just said, oh God, I got to stop looking at polls, and I got to stop. But I know I'm not the only one. So I'm saying this to you guys because I know you're out there looking at this stuff as much as I am.
Mhm.
Just
You
drives
know,
me.
Yeah.
on this exact topic, like Caitlin threw in our prep sheet that Kamala was on Call Her
Mm,
Daddy.
Mhm.
And
very cool.
I think what's so cool about that is that Alex Cooper, as the host of that podcast, she recognizes that politics is not something she covers on her podcast. So
Mhm.
there's her as a podcast host taking a chance to say this is important right now. And although she recognized that maybe half of her audience would prefer Trump over Kamala to be on her podcast, she also put the reach out to Trump's team saying, I'll have you too if you want to have a proper, really genuine conversation. But this is the only way it happens, right?
Mhm.
So she's being very fair about it, but also taking a chance knowing her listenership is normally not even interested in politics.
But
I
also
admire it.
making a very brave step forward of saying, this is where I'm going. And I mean, that's what it came across to me. I listened to the show.
It was great, eh?
It was fantastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of subtleties. And like you said, it was very nonpartisan because
Mhm.
she did put it out to the Trump people. One of the interesting things that has coming out of the Trump camp, and this is not just the Daddy podcast. This is also, very, very mainstream, like 60 Minutes.
Well, she was on
Sure.
Howard Stern too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, but I'm talking about what the Trump camp has said to them. Well, we're not doing it because you're fact checking. President Trump doesn't want to be fact checked. He doesn't think that's fair. And the 60 Minutes guys, he was so funny. He was just saying, yes, we are a news show. We fact check everyone. We will be fact checking Kamala Harris. Like,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, whatever show this is, we just don't fucking put it on there and verbatim. Oh, it's because you said so.
Mhm.
But it's so funny that his actual team is saying, well, Mr. Trump doesn't want to be fact checked.
Yeah, of course he doesn't. And it's because
Oh, man.
it's not gone well for him when that has happened. It's not gone well for his running mate JD Vance when that has happened. So I thought the vice presidential debates were, interesting. And I cannot recommend listening to Pete Buttigieg on Ezra Klein's podcast highly enough. It was a fantastic conversation. And Pete Buttigieg is sort of now the lead, I would almost say the lead communicator of the Democratic Party. I mean, he will go on Fox News, he will go anywhere, and he can so skillfully convey a message logically supported with facts and historical experiences and precedent. And I take so much information in whenever he speaks. So if you're
Agreed.
kind of wondering a lot about the US election right now, which I think many people in Canada are, because it's going to impact us, it's challenging to
It's
watch.
already impacted us.
For sure, of course.
Look at
I mean,
our
like,
political climate. Look at what's happening in the House of Commons, Caitlin.
I mean, as in the Trumpism of everything has,
Yes.
of course, impacted, everyone around the world, right? It's its own movement, and it has legs, and it resonates for whatever reason with a lot of people. So it's going to spread. But I more mean like they're our largest trading partner, and Trump is running on a platform where he says he's going to enact massive tariffs, not just on China, although it's really aimed at them directly, but it will impact us. And I mean, if everyone is complaining about inflation, I think the estimation was that for the US citizens, these tariffs on goods will result in an added expense of $3,900 a year on average per household,
And
because
where are they going to get that from?
the price of those goods is going to go up. So what everyone needs to understand is that it's nice sounding to say, oh, we're going to charge these countries and we're going to put tariffs on their products. That's Canada, by the way, everyone. That's us. So they're our biggest trading partner. So he's talking about making our exports more expensive to go there. But then even for his own voters, he's saying, no, this isn't going to get passed off to you. Yes, it is. They're going to raise prices. So
he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about ever.
well, he does know what he's talking about, though. He knows that this is a successful line because it's an us versus them
no,
mentality.
but I mean, as far as he doesn't understand the impact on the everyday citizen, he's telling them it's not going to affect Americans. Oh, this won't bug you guys. Yes, it will.
I think he does know that, though. That's what I'm
I know,
saying.
but he's lying to them. He's telling
Well,
them
that's
that
what I'm
it's
saying.
not. That's what I'm saying is that
Yeah.
he doesn't give a fucking shit about them. He will say
No.
whatever he needs to say
No,
to get that vote.
He's it's working, and they've this is all very well researched. Like, they know what's going to work with people and what's going to resonate and what
It's
isn't.
crazy.
And so it's going to be a busy friggin' month, because they are both going to be doing the rounds of media, and he'll be doing his own very specific catered to him rounds of media. But again, like, he's in Mar-a-Lago, he's in Florida, he has a lot of supporters in Florida, and I wonder how they will feel, if at all any different, after this recent round of hurricanes, because I know that there was a representative in Florida who is sort of part of his new right movement. Her name is Paulina Luna, and she needs FEMA support now, but she voted against FEMA aid in like their most recent vote for this. She's voted against her own constituents who are now, being affected by Helene and then Milton. So it just doesn't make sense. A lot of it just really doesn't make sense. And I think maybe we do need to return to some sort of mandatory education when it comes to local governments and like small government, because I don't think people really understand how it works. So then it's easy to sway you with emotions and to be taken advantage of, instead of to really say, actually, I think you should probably know the difference between your MP and your city councillor. Like, I think that would be important.
There's a very interesting thing going on in Norway. And Scandinavia is so ahead of the curve in a lot of ways, and they have their own problems too. There's right-wing guys, running for local and federal office all the time. But anyway, what they're doing at this one particular school in Norway is there's a class, and this is for young people. These are 9, 10, 11-year-old kids, of how to recognize fake news.
Oh, great.
And it's a class on critical thinking.
Media literacy, yeah.
And media literacy, exactly, Caitlin. And they are having so much success with it. The kids are going home to their parents and saying, no, that's not real. And this is how you look. This is how the signs of where it comes from. Anyway, I just thought it was such an interesting thing that is going to be a necessity for young people to engage their critical thinking, to really sift through what's real, what isn't real, what's partially true, and to be able to make decisions based on something that's not corrupting their minds.
And
Anyway,
the thing too is, like, a lot of the older voters, their social media literacy is incredibly low. And so they are victims of misinformation campaigns, care of social media statistically above any other group. And
Well,
it's
they're
just
targeted constantly, right?
and it's because they didn't grow up with it. And so
No.
their notion is that, I'm seeing this on Facebook on an account that looks like the Today Show, but it's really just called Today and it has no affiliation with the Today Show. So they're easily fooled into thinking these are reputable
My
sources.
parents wouldn't have known.
Of course, I think it's an unrealistic expectation, but it's like, yeah, that's why we kind of got to get in there with the kids and tell them, like, let's be a little more skeptical about all this stuff and learn what's real.
Caitlin
And
will
follow
also be
along
teaching
with
that
us.
course next semester.
I should. I'm going to teach it. You
Yeah.
teach podcasting, I'll teach media literacy.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Reality TV
Well,
literacy.
and I will just teach people how to marinate mushrooms. Thank you very much, by the way. Caitlin sent me a recipe on Instagram a couple days ago, and it's kind of like mushroom skewers. It's oyster mushrooms and shiitake mushrooms, all these, and they're marinated. I've got mine in the fridge right now marinating.
Really?
And I bought some beautiful Turkish flatbread. I made vegan tzatziki this morning because my friends are coming for dinner. I'm going to put them on the grill on little skewers.
Love
I'm
that.
doing a whole bunch of caramelized onions. I'm making a huge Caesar salad. And anyways, we're having the grilled naan with all these mushrooms that are going to be meaty and savory and a little bit sweet. There's like maple syrup in there. So thank you, Caitlin. Just
that's
if anyone's looking for plant-based meal ideas,
You should throw the recipe link in Patreon.
I will
I
send it
will.
to you.
Yeah, it's from Molly Baz. Do you know her at all? She has a cookbook. She was from Bon
Okay,
Appetit.
well, thank you. Thank you, Holly.
Yeah, no, Molly.
Molly. Oh,
Molly
and
Baz, yeah.
Molly, and thank you to your friend Holly, too. We didn't
Holly and
leave
Molly.
her out.
It's
yeah.
it's really cool. There's some amazing vegan recipes.
Caitlin sends me
I do.
You guys both like tend to send me, oh, I saw
Yeah.
this plant-based bliggity ding. Anyway, I'm making them, and I'm so excited for my friends to pull these meaty char grilled chunks of mushroom onto their grilled naan bread and slapping
Drooling.
on that tzatziki.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And who fucking doesn't like bread? Dear people eating meat, the best part of life is a goddamn piece of bread. Okay.
It is.
So don't worry that you're going to be like deprived of anything. You're not. I'm going to take pictures, and thank you for reminding me of that. Speaking of food, I want to know your Thanksgiving plans, guys. Like,
Okay,
I'm
wait,
being
before
invited.
we go ahead.
Yes, what are we doing? We're stopping.
I just want an update. Did you have the RCMP officers over yet for the dinner?
Oh,
From
Jesus Christ. You scared me just now.
well,
I'm
you're talking
thinking,
about cooking.
What did I do? Is my brother in jail again? What's happening? The RCMP are here.
So sorry.
I have not. We're going to figure it out.
Okay,
And
it's
maybe
not planned yet.
No, it's not planned yet. But I absolutely think I can do it the first couple of weeks of November. I'm going to be home from Fiji, na 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 na,
Right.
and
okay.
then I'm There's
Okay.
4 of them, and thank you for bringing that up because they donated $3,000 to Enviros, and I'm going to do
that's how they
something
won
spectacular
the
for
dinner.
them.
Literally at
They won
Jan's,
me.
which
They
Jan
won you.
decided at the golf tournament and just put it on the table there for
But yeah,
auction.
I don't have an update there for you. I need to
Okay.
call Rochelle.
All right.
And speaking of which, one more little caveat to this whole golf tournament thing.
Okay.
One of these days we'll get Caitlin here. Like maybe Kyle can come out and you guys can stay here so you're not far away from him. We'll just golf for 5 hours and then you guys can go take my car and go to Banff or you know what I mean? We'll figure it
Ooh.
out.
Ooh,
We're going
I
to
like
figure it
this.
out because I got lots of
Okay.
room for you. And anyway, so the dinner this last summer was ribs, giant ribs, sliders, like it was
There
a
was
bunch
lots
of
of
meat.
meat.
Like it was
Mhm.
so, and it just made me blue. So when they asked me, it's the 10th anniversary of the golf tournament. Are you up for it? I said, I have one little request. And I said, it should be little. It shouldn't be anything at all, but something small. And I said, I want a plant-based meal. So I said, I don't care if it's pizzas. I don't care if it's mac and cheese. I don't care if it's Beyond Meat burgers.
Mushroom
I don't care if it's a
skewers.
lasagna. It's inexcusable now. So I said, I'm not feeding 160 people
Ribs.
meat. That is, those big gatherings really press hard on the system.
Mhm.
It's those gatherings.
Yeah.
So it ain't
Good
happening on my
job.
watch. And Rochelle said, consider it done. She goes,
Great.
I'll talk to them now. And I said, if you need ideas and if they're freaked
Jan.
out,
I'll
catering.
DM them.
I said, let me know. Because I said, if I need to go in 2 days early and make shit, I will.
Oh
Mhm.
my God, I love that.
Okay.
The
Anyway,
commitment.
Okay.
Thanksgiving.
So,
What's going on?
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, we actually ordered our Thanksgiving meal this year.
That's okay. People do that.
I don't want to make food this year because I know we're going to be busy with Will all day, every day, and there's just going to be no time to roast a million things for hours.
You're making a pie, though.
I'm going to make a pie.
Okay.
But we're going to pick up our meal from Summerhill Market here in Toronto. They do a really great like dinner for two. And honest to God, food prices being what they are now, when you factor in everything that we were going to buy, I bet you it's like roughly the same cost. So yeah, but then I'll make my own pie. I'll probably do a pumpkin pie. I'm not a huge pumpkin pie girl.
I love pumpkin pie.
Kyle really likes them, so I'll do it for him. But
Love you, Kyle.
I don't love it. I don't love a pumpkin pie. So I might have to do something else for myself. I would say I would love a
Make
flourless.
an apple pie. Make an apple
I might
pie.
do a flourless chocolate cake for myself, actually.
Okay.
So maybe that. And today is, in fact, Kyle's birthday. So
happy birthday, Kyle.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, husband of Caitlin, Kyle. Happy birthday. You made such a beautiful son to you. And he looks like you, and you got such big, really nice eyes.
Jan
That'll
has
be
a slight crush
$1,800.
on Kyle.
only human. But yeah, so we'll do something. We'll do something fun this weekend.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be just a traditional, all the fix-ins Thanksgiving dinner for us, and then very low key. I want to begin rewatching The Sopranos. It's that season for me, so that's probably also going to be on the agenda.
With your little finger.
What are you doing,
comes
Sarah?
Okay, so most years Thanksgiving is not really a thing for me other than a long weekend. Jewish people just usually have a different holiday that they're focused on around this time. It's called Yom Kippur. It's the Day of Atonement. It's essentially like you reflect on the year before, and the idea is that by fasting that any sins type of thing would be forgiven. Obviously it comes from a tradition way back when.
Yep.
I haven't really participated in that day in a very long time, but like my mom still does, or
Okay.
my mom doesn't. My dad does, my mom doesn't. So right there within the family.
Well, that's
it's
pretty
like,
typical with parents.
And it was just
Yeah.
Rosh Hashanah too. So
and Rosh Hashanah.
It's a busy time.
For anyone who doesn't know, our Rosh Hashanah dinner was the day after the event, actually, is the Jewish New Year. So we're just on a different calendar, essentially. So Yom Kippur actually falls on the Thanksgiving long weekend in Canada this year, which doesn't always happen. But I know that my mom wants to make, a nice feast. And that's what it is for us, a gathering of family. We're pretty modern in that way. But yeah, when it comes to like the fall foods, I don't really, I'm not a sweet tooth person. So like, I don't really crave ever anything pumpkin related. I'm not that person, but I'll eat a turkey. I like turkey.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So
No, it's I won't even get into the statistics of how many turkeys in the next 90
don't
days.
get her started.
No, I won't. I'm not going to. Listen.
Yeah.
I am going to kind of an orphan Thanksgiving. Lisa, my friend Lisa, and her roommate Bev, who I've known for many, many,
Friendsgiving.
many years, Friendsgiving. And I have been asked to bring my dad's stuffing. So it's so easy to veganize it because it's sage. It's all I do is swap out vegan butter and like oat milk or something.
Beauty.
But it's the most simple. It was my grandma's stuffing recipe, and I always make that. But for me, I got some Gardein. They're hard to find. Maybe it's just this time of year, but they're stuffed turkey, air quotes, rolls. And they're breaded, and you can either stick it in an air fryer, but I'm going to make myself like a couple of those. There's also turkey cutlets that Gardein sells as well that are fantastic. And anything with mashed potatoes on it and gravy. Yeah, I'm telling you, once you get that bitey textural thing, you blow past it. You put your cranberry sauce on there. So I'm going to bring a couple extra of those for people who want to try them, because I think that's really important. Be like, do you want to try a little piece of this? See what you think?
I love that.
Yeah, so I'm going to make maybe 3 or 4 of those turkey rolls, and then my dressing, and then I'm going to go over there and hang out with them. But
I like that.
yeah, I haven't had Thanksgiving since Mom and Dad were alive. They're the ones that really wanted everyone to come over, and it was almost just as big of a deal as a Christmas dinner.
It's almost like picking up on that discussion we had last week on stage, just about doing things alone. I think the Friendsgiving thing is even more common than the family Thanksgiving these days, where you're taken in by your chosen family.
Increasingly, yeah. Especially because so many people, especially in Toronto, aren't necessarily from Toronto. And so their family is far away. And because they know they're going to have to incur the insanely expensive cost of travel within Canada at the holidays in just a few months, everyone's, I seem to know, forgoes seeing family at Thanksgiving. So there's usually quite a few people floating around.
Yeah.
We would we would have people here for Thanksgiving who were in the city if Will didn't go to bed at 6 o'clock.
And it's hard, it's hard to keep everybody kind of quiet and
Oh yeah,
I get
and I'm just
that.
not gonna be able to make anything, and there's gonna
Listen,
be like Play-Doh everywhere.
I still think about you guys going out for Chinese food, Christmas Eve. It's one of my favorite Caitlin stories, and thinking that you might have seen Rick Mercer at the movie theater, and
it's
the
I
cutest.
think
I did ask him about it, and he said no, he wasn't. But I had to ask him. I said, Did you go and see Dinkity Donk Donk at the Thinkle? And
the
he
wrestler
didn't.
at Cumberland Cinemas, which is
Yes.
now RIP Cumberland Cinemas. But yeah, no, it was great. I mean, sometimes I like to skirt tradition. Like that's just kind of in my DNA. I like traditions just as much, but I think mixing it up sometimes is sort of liberating. So not doing stuff that you think you're going to have to do is when you don't want to do it. I love the freedom for everyone of like, you don't want to do something, don't do it. Don't be pressured into doing something. You don't have Christmas in you. You don't have hosting in you. Just say no. Order in and say screw it.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, I think Caitlin's right there. Don't pressure yourselves, and maybe if you guys can think of it when you're getting your groceries in the next week or so, throw that extra $5-10 into the food bank.
I was just
make
gonna say that.
sure people have that, and you don't always have to adhere to what's in their bag. So what I do, and I just did this a couple days ago, I bought a couple, and because I do have the means, I'm not trying to. I do have the means. I live alone. I don't have kids. That's saving me a fortune right then and there. I'm not having sex on a daily basis with anyone, even myself. So I don't know what that has to do with the food bank, and I apologize profusely. So, but you can say to the clerk, I would like to donate a turkey. And they can literally ring it up, if it's the $40 or whatever. But you can do things like that if you just check with and if it's not the cashier, go to where they have that little returns, or sometimes where they keep cigarettes, and you can go up there and say, listen, I'd like to put $100 towards a turkey dinner. Those people will sort you out, whether it's Loblaws or Safeway. But, and Julie Van Rosendahl, once again, I have to throw back, this is her idea. Her and her son do an advent calendar that you add to, that you put stuff in. So even if you're planning on Christmas, get a couple of old wine boxes and stick a package of pasta in there one night, or a can of beans the next day, or a jar of peanut butter. And at the end of it, you've got 24 items, and you can get it all loaded up long before Christmas. You don't have to time it out to the 24th. Yeah. It's just the sentiment. But
you're going to love this about meat and food banks. The cost of meat with food banks, like I just read this article, it's up 27%. So it is actually in our best interest to work with other ways to feed people through food banks that is not meat, right?
Oh, they know that. Yeah. It's a perishable good, but I know that when you're talking about things like tinned hams or tinned chicken or tinned sardines or tinned fish, they say that goes over really well too. Like if you can buy a 4-pack of tuna, for a family that it is shelf safe and things like. Anyway, just something to think about going into this. I am so grateful. You're grateful. You guys are so grateful for what you have. And
my sister worked in the food bank system for a really long time, so I feel like I always try to do something. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's increasingly so. I mean, the food insecurity in Canada, with inflation being what it has been, is wild. And the other thing I just learned: do you guys feel like you always you hear the word inflation all the time, and you're kind of like, I'm pretending to know what this means? Do you guys feel that way, or do you think you really know?
I always equate it with the price of things going up, and I know that is a very, very silly way of looking at economics. I know they're incredibly complicated.
Well, I also know that when you hear that inflation is decreasing, everyone then thinks that the price is going down. It's not. It means that the rate at which prices are climbing is stabilizing. But typically and historically, today's price is now forever's price. Like it's never going to
Yeah.
go back below unless there's some sort of intervention. So all to say, it has become very expensive to feed families in Canada. And the daily bread here in Toronto is like they really need help. And a lot of people want to volunteer there, of course, around the holidays. It's just when they think of it, you're like pre-programmed to think that way. But they could really use volunteers outside of these pinch points during the holidays, and especially like November, like leading up to Christmas. So do consider that if you have time to give, perhaps more than money.
They don't have delivery services; it's volunteers.
Yeah, everything. Exactly. Yep.
So
most requested item at the food bank is every year the same. What do you guys think that is?
Ooh, a quiz.
This is a fact. I know this because I just read about it again a couple weeks ago. It's so pedestrian.
Is it milk?
Is it
Peanut
tampons?
Butter. Peanut butter.
Oh, peanut butter. Okay.
Peanut butter.
Yep.
But yeah, feminine protection, as we know, is unbelievably expensive. I used to bitch about it when I was in the throes of,
oh my God, it's crazy.
My lady stuff, 10 years ago. I was just like, did I just spend $45 in an airport for a pack of maxi pads and a 10-pack of tampons? Thank God.
Like those things should have, I'm sorry, but like I don't like government involvement in things typically, but like you should have a set, you cannot charge.
Be free.
If at the very least they should have them controlled in pricing. Same with baby formula and diapers. These are things that you absolutely need. Nobody should be able to jack the prices of these things to the degree that they have. It just doesn't make sense. But yeah, it would be nice if they were free. I would really like that.
Really interesting group in the States, and I'll try and look up these women's names, but they've been sending feminine protection to Palestine, Israel. Now they're including Lebanon. They're doing it again. They're stepping it up, literally saying, can we make these women's lives incrementally a little bit easier for 4 days out of the month, 5 days out of the month?
Yep.
So they're not running around trying to dodge bombs and dealing with their periods. So we don't think of things like that. When you think about women in war, it is unfathomable, when you're running around as a pregnant woman, when you're running around as a grandmother, like, anyway.
Can I say this, something that came to me when I was watching, do you guys, I don't know if either of you watched The Last of Us, the HBO series, The Last of Us?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So when I was watching The Last of Us, cause this is just the way my brain works. I don't know why I'm like this, but I noticed that in one of the episodes when the little girl gets to kind of like a human compound that is being successfully run outside of the gross city that she was living in. One of the first things that a female leader gives her is a diva cup.
Yeah.
Because it's going to, now you can imagine that in a post-apocalyptic scenario, this thing would be pretty darn important. And so what did I do? I went out and bought one because I was like, well, I don't know if the supply chain is going to go sideways again or if something happens in the world, but HBO's The Last of Us tells me that I need a diva cup.
This is so funny. I'm being targeted on Instagram right now with like, I guess there's like a new diva cup that's like a flatter shape.
Let's just take it 1 second. Let's step back and explain diva cup, please. There's a lot of our listeners that don't know what that is.
So it's a little silicone cup that you insert, and the idea is it's an alternative to putting in a tampon or
it looks like half an acorn, and there's a little tiny stem, and you can modify it to what suits you. If you want a longer stem to pull the cup carefully out. Obviously, it's a cup that fills with menstrual, blood. And depending on how heavy or how light you are, you go in a washroom and you take it out and you bring some paper towel with you, and it's very easy and it folds. So don't think of trying to put a teacup up your fanny. It's rubber, it's silicone, correct, you guys?
Yeah,
yes, it is.
Silicone,
and it folds. So imagine just folding it, and then it literally wouldn't be any wider than a tampon.
I couldn't get it in. I tried so hard.
You know what? It's like sex. You got to learn. You got to learn how to fit it in.
I guess so.
You do.
Kaylin, did you?
No, I haven't. I bought it for end days because I was like,
okay,
but also
your next cycle, I need you to try it and report back to me.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. But I will say that they discontinued my favorite tampons. And so I've been in a real battle.
Tell me they're not OB.
They are.
Those stupid assholes.
Okay, the little OB ones that don't have an applicator, and they're very, very small, but they need the special coating on them because there's a smooth glide coating, and then there's not. And the not smooth glide coating is not for me.
No, it's like a marshmallow in a piggy bank. It's terrible.
But these ones, they discontinued. And I wrote to OB and I was like, excuse me. And they're like, no, they're still available in Canada. You just have to look hard. And I was like, not this hard. I've hunted. So I don't know what giant conglomerate of multinational corporations owns OB tampons today.
Yeah.
But if they ever hear this, bring them back to Canada, damn it. Because I can't have my US friend sending them to me and I have to buy them in bulk when I go to the US.
Yeah.
Kyle, if he has to go on a business trip to the US, I'm like, I need you to go to Walgreens and run around buying tampons.
I've been on a journey to get away from that stuff because of like the harmful bleaches and all that stuff in these products. So I've been trying to buy organic tampons, and I'm lucky, like, because of the birth control that I'm on, my cycle is very light. So I don't use a lot of products, which is also why the Diva Cup thing would be great for me, but I can't get the fucking thing in. So I would like to try the flatter one. Have you guys heard of the Nuva ring? I know we're on a whole tangent right now, but
I have heard of it.
It has hormones that it shoots off. I couldn't do that because
it goes like pew,
well,
pew,
I'm just
pew,
saying, yeah, it's like a laser gun. But I couldn't do that because of
like
my
the Wild
fibroids.
West of hormones.
So the whole reason that I use the Nuva ring over birth control, it's like, you know, when you take the pill, it's a spike in the hormones at that moment of the day, which is why they want you taking it at the same time every day. So
Right.
A Nuva ring, I mean, for those on YouTube, it's the size of this hair elastic. It's very tiny. That I have no problem putting in. It's in for 3 weeks. You take it out and have your period for, you know, for the last week of the month. But that's where I was like, oh, the Diva Cup looks like the same size. This shouldn't be much of an issue for me, but I can't get it.
Interesting.
A problem.
Are you folding it?
Yeah.
Are you folding
like
it?
essentially like you do like this? Like
this
Sarah,
this
for
is
everyone
one of
who's
the
not on YouTube, is folding up. Somehow you have a perfectly handy elastic band right now, but there we go.
Wait till we give you the condom, you know, demonstration because it's
The
really
banana.
good. Sarah's gonna do that.
I
have
do
you
have a
have you
banana
got
right
it a little
here.
bit wet?
What is happening? You're like Dr. Sue over there.
I just didn't have time to eat. So
What-
I was
what
like, maybe
is-
I'll snack on this.
Have you tried to get it a little bit wet? I don't mean spit or anything like
Okay.
that.
Anyways.
No. I just mean with a little bit of tap water. Just a little bit of tap water and fold it.
R.I.P. to our sponsors.
Well,
I will
I'm joking.
try. I will maybe a little coconut oil.
Well, I wouldn't put any oils up your ding dong. Like, don't be doing any
Coconut
oils. Like,
oil
we're
is
not
supposed to
doctors
be-
here. If you're
Coconut
just
oil
joining
is
us,
supposed to be fine.
okay. Well,
You know what we need to do
Thanksgiving
is
took
save
a
that
turn.
last quote for the next live event we have where we play another round of she said, and Jan says, don't put any oils up your ding dong. So I really like that one.
Noting.
Okay. Bing bong.
Yeah. You know, one thing we didn't discuss about the live event, I was kind of like caught off guard at the amount of cards and gifts that we got from people.
Oh my gosh. Yes, let's talk about that.
Thank you to
It
everyone
was
who left things.
amazing.
I haven't gone through all my stuff. There's a big box sitting at the condo. I had to leave the next day very early.
Yes.
I had press.
Yeah.
I actually told Heather McGill, one of our, Jan fans and only fans, I just said I haven't gone through everything yet. Because I just
from her
I just wanted to make sure if you got it, and everybody, I haven't gone through anything, and hopefully nothing
except
is
for the
perishable.
one frame that I sent you the picture of. You want me to grab the frame?
The
With
Biddlemore's frame?
Biddlemore's frame?
Oh, I put it on Instagram and I found out who it was.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we've been
Actually,
talking.
You've been talking. What was her name? I took a screenshot of it so that we could shout her out, but I'm trying to remember her name.
Sanja?
Yeah, it's something like that.
Yeah, she's been following me for a long time, and she was like, "I'm not taking credit for this. I saw the frame, and I just put it was so cute."
That's really sweet. Well,
that's gonna go up in my condo for sure.
The people who gave children's books to Will, I'm actually going to get the business card of this woman who gave him all these books, and it's from a secondhand children's bookstore. And I can't say enough good things about a secondhand children's store because you need them in your neighborhood. They're very, very good for reducing the price of things that you're going to be buying all the time and for upcycling. So let me grab that. But honestly, thank you so much. People gave like the Cow's chocolate covered chips, and those are like a delicacy, and I'm half PEI. So, I mean, these things are so, so sweet. It's very, very thoughtful.
It was Saja Hussein.
Hussein.
You know what? Just for our YouTube peeps, I'm going to grab it. One sec.
Okay. Everyone's left me here. So what I want to say is that I'm the most interesting person on this podcast. I'm the only person that really knows what they're doing. I'm the nicest. I'm certainly the cutest and the prettiest. And we don't even need these. Oh, hey, welcome back. I just
Welcome
was telling
back.
everyone how great you guys were.
So here
Isn't
is
yeah, it's just crazy. Dally
So
and
this has
Burl
to
and
go.
Krilla.
This has to go back to Jann. It somehow came home in my box, but and a little Poppy for Poppy.
Oh,
came
that
with
was in
it.
your box and you can't fit a
Aw.
Nuva ring? So
What box were we
But
talking
bum.
about?
Oh wait.
Okay, no, this was from
you guys both
these.
left me at the same time. You realize that. Wait to hear what I was saying while you were gone.
I can't wait to edit this episode.
This is from Pickwick. They were from Pickwick Books, which is a bookstore in Waterdown. And they were some really, really thoughtful books and like
Aw.
wonderful, beautiful
The
cards.
stuff.
And like a note for Kyle. Someone wrote a whole letter to Will.
Aww.
And it's just like these are just really, really thoughtful
I
things.
thought this.
Dear adorable, handsome, and limitless Will. Like handwritten stuff for your kid.
Yes.
And this was another listener who had previously sent this to me and I hadn't had a chance to mention it yet, but she actually wrote a book and it's called Dinos Driving. Look how cute it is.
Oh.
Oh
I'm
my
going to tell you, it's a
God.
listener named Lynn. I think you pronounce her name Lynn Leach, and it's so cute. It's an illustrated little board book, and it's all about dinosaurs and what cars they would drive.
Oh.
And it's a combination of like Will's favorite things, which is cars and dinos.
Did
so,
we miss Poppy or did we miss Poppy?
Hi,
just
Poppy.
don't do anything. I've got someone at my gate, but you guys stay on here because I'm going to let them in.
I heard
Okay.
I heard bing bong.
I have a feeling it is my wonderful skin serum that gets developed once a month from Dina Puglisi.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
and I have used this stuff for a year and a half, and I know I looked terrible when you guys saw me because I was so sick of that podcast.
You didn't look
but-
terrible.
You look good, I thought.
Yeah.
I kind of did look terrible, but it's the skin serum. Yeah, I did. I looked terrible. I looked at it. You guys looked glowing. Danny looked glowing. You girls were so beautiful. Like I don't see you all dolled up that often. And then I'm walking around there like, "Hi, I'm the woman that came out of the trees with a stick." I just looked so terrible.
I don't think you
I
did.
try
Not
not
at
to be hard on
all.
myself. Poppy, darling. I panic when I'm running out. So I signed up for the monthly delivery of the serum. So I don't think about it anymore. It shows up and it saves me so much money because this thing is a day cream, it's a night cream, and my skin usually it looks pretty good for 70.
It's just called their just facial serum. Like that's what it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Love that. Yeah. It's got vitamin E, marula seed oil, and rosehip seed oil. Oh, amazing.
I think this is a perfect time to say sayonara and to thank everybody for coming once again to our first live event. And because this is going to go onward. And
I got some
Oh,
voice
yeah.
notes for us though.
Yeah.
You know
Let's play
what?
it out with some
Let's
voice
do
notes.
that. Well, let's play out with. Do you know what? I'm so sorry that every damn time it's one of my favorite parts of this show that you guys have incorporated. I love listening to them. The earnestness, the different ideas that they have, their take on life, and their spin on some of the topics that we have. This is my favorite part, and I screw it up every time. Next week, I'm going to be here in my entirety.
Don't worry.
No,
That's
I'm
literally
dropping the
what we
ball.
do. We throw to you, you throw to us. We got you. Okay.
Mm.
We haven't listened to any yet. Here we go. Here's
Okay.
the first one.
Okay.
Okay.
Hi, Jan, Sarah, and Caitlin. My name is Morag, and this is new for me, voice noting. I just wanted to say thanks. Your podcast is a breath of fresh air. It's like being in a group of friends and just having a chat. That's what I feel like. I'm also a Patreon member. Didn't make the first 50, but I did sign up twice by mistake, so maybe that counts for a t-shirt or a tote.
I think it
And
does.
thank you to Sarah for helping me figure that one out. Jan, every time I see a picture of Mitty, I feel you missing her. I went through the same thing with my Mika. Geez, almost 4 years ago now, and it still brings a tear to my eye. I used to listen to Ode to a Friend and think it was her song. When I hear it, I still see her. I had a blanket made up for you when Mitty died, and I did the same thing for me with Mika. I hope you love it
I
just as
have
much
it,
as I love
and I
mine.
use it every day.
Oh, this is so weird talking into this. Anyway, I will be seeing you in November in Duncan, and thanks for coming to Vancouver Island and singing in the smaller venues. It gives everybody a chance to see you, and everybody on the island loves you. Not a lot of artists come to Duncan for sure, never mind Campbell River. Anyway, I love the chemistry you three have. You brighten my day every time I listen to you. Thanks again, Morag.
Thank you,
Aw,
Morag.
my
Thank you,
uncle lives in
Morag.
Campbell River, so shout out Campbell River.
I'm absolutely blown away by my blanket that I love and I use all the time. So thank you. That's very thoughtful. It's very hard losing a pet, but and thanks for being brave to leave a voice note.
Yeah, we
It's
love
hard to
that.
do.
It is
It
hard.
really is hard to do.
We got more. You want more?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we want more.
give it to us.
You wanted more? You're going to get more.
Okay.
Hey there, Jann Arden pod team. It's Natasha up in Inuvik, Northwest Territories, and just listening to the pod this week, and I wanted to add another beautiful place to come and see just outstanding scenery and autumn colors is up in the Northwest Territories, particularly along the Dempster Highway and then onto the Inuvik-Tuktoyaktuk Highway. The colors are outstanding. The scenery changes every couple hundred kilometers, and it's just an amazing view to take in. If you want some ideas of what that looks like, there's an amazing page called 81 Images, either on Facebook or Instagram, and the gentleman is a photographer up here. He's Inuvialuit, and just takes stunning shots, both of the landscapes with drones and with handheld cameras, and also does some amazing Northern Lights photos. So hopefully someday we can see you up this way. I know Jan's been, I think, as far as Whitehorse and even Dawson before, but it's just a turn up from Dawson and another 800 kilometers, and you're right here at our doorstep,
Okay.
and then eventually up onto the Arctic Ocean. Would love to see you up this way. Would love to host you and show you around and do all those fun things. And in the meantime, if you want to check out those photos, totally available to anyone across Canada who wants to see them. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.
Love that. I got the link, so I'll put it in the show notes for us.
What a cool recommendation. And honestly, I do really want to see the Yukon and Northwest Territories at some point. I think it would be fantastic.
Nunavut. I did a trip with SiriusXM to Nunavut for Nunavut Music Week. It was an incredibly eye-opening experience, and the land is just gorgeous. It's bright at 2 a.m. You're trying to figure that out at some point. When was I? I was there in February, I think. So anyway,
I think it's quintessentially Canada.
Yes. Yes.
Like when you think about Canada, it's the north, right? The north.
You got to see it. Okay, here's another one.
Hi, Jen. Hi, Caitlin. Hi, Sarah. This is Ellen from Toronto. I just wanted to say that I had so much fun during our live event. I laughed so hard with the games. My question is, you met all my expectations for the live event. Did we, as an audience, met your expectations for the live event? Did you like the live event? Keep doing it. Thank you so much, and see you next time.
We loved it, and hopefully you've heard the top of this podcast today, because we're blown away that you guys showed up, and we were all excited. You should have seen us backstage. Hey guys.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It exceeded our expectations for sure. And like we've said a million times, we'll keep saying it because I know many people were disappointed that they couldn't come. We will be doing more, and we'll have more tickets. And this was just a little proof of concept. And boy, did we love it, and loved meeting everyone and just seeing how kind and supportive the fans are, because it can be really nerve-wracking to do stuff in front of people. So the feeling that it's in a very supportive, nice environment it's rare. I know that it's rare.
Yeah.
And next time I will actually follow the outline that Caitlin gives me. No excuses. No excuses. I mean, I was a bit nervous. No matter how much anyone goes on a stage, it's just like, what am I doing? And I started with games. I don't even know what I was thinking. But anyway, thank you for coming, for supporting us.
One more for the road.
Woohoo!
Hi, Jan, Sarah, and Caitlin. This is Darren from New Brunswick. I really liked your Jann Arden podcast live on YouTube. It was a good show. I liked when you said it's good to go out by yourself and do things like out to a movie, out to a meal, or out to a concert. Actually, Jan, where I am in New Brunswick, I saw your your concerts by myself, and it was a good time. And then years ago, when I was younger, I saw concerts by myself at well-known bars in Moncton and New Brunswick, where go see you live, and that was good too.
Awesome.
So, anyways, have a good week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you
Nice
so
to
much.
hear that.
Thank
I
you,
love
Dan.
that.
Yeah, it is. It's great to do stuff on your own and just find it within yourself that you can do it. Doesn't mean you have to
Brave.
do it, but
Yeah.
it's not as hard as you think.
And especially
And
because I find going to events alone can be a bit like, I don't love doing that all the time because you are expected to sort of walk up to strangers and make conversation because you're
are
just sort
you?
of like, well, when you go to an event, like a networking event or like a
Oh,
TIFF
okay.
event or something, you're just standing usually around like a cocktail-y setting. And I don't love that. But what I want to say to people who might be a little afraid of going out to do stuff on their own is if it's a movie or a concert, you're just in the audience. So it is a very low stakes game to go on your own. You're just taking in the entertainment. And for me, at least, not everyone always has the same taste in music and movies as I do. And so I still want to be able to see some of my favorite artists, but I don't always have someone who's like as big of a fan as me. So I love that he saw you 3 times. That's amazing.
God, he
Yeah.
paid for my hat.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Anyway, so what are we gonna do on Patreon today?
Well, there's a few things that I do want to discuss. I want to talk about Thanksgiving or holiday mishaps. And I know last year it feels like we were just talking about these things because Caitlin had brought us a Reddit thing about what relatives like did at gatherings. I'll never forget. I wish I could go and find that episode of us talking about what uncles did, drunk aunts, fights. Holy shit, the stuff that came. But I want to touch on that again because we are coming into the relative zone. So we're going to talk about that a little bit of how to somehow lower your expectations of big family gatherings.
Okay.
And
I want to talk to you guys about cleaning also, which is my favorite
you know,
activity.
Get out of my head.
Nerd.
It was something that we didn't get to, but no, there's a
We're
catch
gonna
to
talk
this, folks. There's a catch to this.
There's a sexy
Because-
catch.
Yeah, there's a sexy catch.
I'm waiting
and
for it.
If to know what that is, you're going to have to come back and listen.
Okay, and my contribution is going to be I'm going to update you on the foster dog.
Okay.
And dating. I want to know any dating stuff.
I don't feel like I have. Well, I'll conjure something up for you.
Okay.
Conjure. Okay. That's it. Thank you so much for listening. You can find us on all your favorite platforms for streaming and for listening to your podcasts. We appreciate it more than you know. Please sign up if you haven't already to our Patreon page. It helps us make the podcast every week, and it helps us put on these really great live events that we definitely want to do more of. So thank you for that. And your t-shirts are coming. You first 50, the t-shirts are a coming. So it took us a little while to get our poop in a group, but it's they're headed your way. Thank you. Caitlin Green, as always. Sarah Burke, you guys are fantastic. I'm endlessly proud of you all the time. And I enjoy doing this with you guys as much as our listeners love checking us out every week. So we'll see you next time. Jann Arden Podcast. Toodly-doo.